Alright, this is 21st Century Beat Poet Seamas Navarro, and I want to talk to y'all right now about gang stalking. So for the past 6 years, over 5 states, I've been being gang stalked by 2 former friends of mine. One's named Sasha Ferguson, 2 S's in the Ferguson, from Vancouver, Canada, though she lives in Lillooet, BC, and Halifax, Nova Scotia, between those 2 cities, because she's in a little band up there, a couple little bands. The other one is Melissa Milliner from New Orleans, though she's not New Orleans anymore, even though she swore she was. And they've been doing a whole bunch of crazy things to me. I have had brutal head games played on me. I have been kidnapped and tortured over 30 times, given drugs to forget it, but I'm getting flashbacks from it. And also talking to Melissa and Sasha at a distance, like 30, 40 feet. Me to them safely in my sleeping bag, and them standing way off. They told me. Part of the residue is that is unexplained, waking up with unexplained wounds in my body. Including my finger, it has a bone infection in it. I believe that's a result of one of their sessions. And missing days. Go to sleep on a Monday, wake up on a Thursday. No explanation. I also have 2 other critical pieces of evidence that they cannot talk their way out of. They have also been brutally slandering me. Thank the Lord God that I can prove the most heinous slanders absolutely untrue through official means. Meanwhile, they have built networks. So the first 3 years was very harrowing. They were all over me, playing all kinds of games on me. Now that I've moved to Aspen, I've been up there for 4 years, it's kind of slowed down, but they still fly down. So these gang stalkers, what they like to focus on mostly is homeless drug addicts, because A, nobody will believe them. They'll think that it's just drugs. And B, gang stalkers don't have the social credentials to really get anybody to help them. People think that they deserve it. They, are just high. They're disposable. That homeless people are disposable. I can absolutely prove that this is happening, but I'm playing those cards very close to my chest. I have went to the Aspen PD. They were using rogue police against me to harass me, so I figured, screw it. They're going to do that. One good turn deserves another. I'm not one to normally go to the police, but I tried. I presented my evidence, tried to get the Aspen PD to investigate, and they won't. I've seen Sasha go into the Aspen Police Department, and I saw Melissa standing out front of the Aspen Police Department talking to an officer. I'm not saying all the officers up there are involved, but yeah, obviously some are. Same thing in Grand Junction, except I saw Sasha with her little string friends playing guitar by a van, and I called the police, and they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't even go over and see. Meanwhile, Sasha had made friends with the bouncer, and he was giving me hard looks, trying to keep me away. I don't know why I didn't go over that. Basically, I've also been told that they're doing this because I'm gullible, because I have a good heart. I put the good heart in because I am gullible. And in some ways, Sasha has staged numerous games on me where she's supposedly in danger, even though she's done all this fucked up shit to me. And even though I want to put her in prison for the rest of her life, still I'm an old school convict. Crimes against women and children are unacceptable, even though she committed crimes against me. And so she's screaming she's being murdered, tortured, whatever. Lead me on these wild goose chases for 3 hours, and then they laugh at me. They do other things where they make it look like I'm going to be shot on the street, all kinds of stuff like that. I know it's bullshit. I don't really get scared. I don't get scared. I'm wary, because you never know. But I don't get scared. And that's one of the things that Melissa always asks, are you scared? Are you scared? It's really important for her, for me to be scared. I'm not scared, Melissa. What else? I don't know. It would take way too long to explain all this to you. But as I said, I have absolute proof. So Sasha told me in one of our sessions talking that the reason why she's doing this is that she hates older homeless drug addicts like me. Older homeless piece of shit drug addicts like me. That she should have my gifts of art, poetry, and music, and that she feels it's her religious right. So, through various things I've seen on social media, Sasha, I figured out Sasha was Luciferian, but both Sasha and Melissa said that they're Satanists. Meanwhile, Melissa is claiming to be a Christian, but she's obviously not. So there is no magic. Magic is manipulation, as Anton LaVey, the founder of the Satanic Church in San Francisco, laid out in one of his books called The Satanic Witch. One section is on ritual magic, which obviously you know what that is. The other section is on lesser magic, and it's all manipulation. So this is their black magic manipulation. They want to mind control people, get them to do what they want, to see if they can do it and get away with it. It's also come to my attention that there is some secret website out there that I can't get into because it's blocked off all my devices. They're hacked into my devices. An example is that I've tried to text at times and it comes out gibberish. Another thing that happened was a video was posted of me walking with my camera, but it's facing down towards the ground. I didn't know it was on. Somebody posted it at 4 o'clock in the morning with some Norwegian black satanic metal. I didn't post this. Another incident that happened is I was renting a room for a while in Rifle, Colorado, when I was working as a traffic control flagman. I went to the store to get some beer. I left my bed unmade. I came back, my bed was made. I heard, after I moved in, Sasha and Melissa, and so it was a two-story house, and the upper rooms were rented out to renters. There were, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. I heard Sasha and Melissa behind each of the doors and saw Sasha in one of the rooms when I was downstairs in the driveway smoking a cigarette. The front door was open, it was night, and she was in there sitting on the couch. I also almost caught Melissa coming out of the roomer that lived right across from me. Almost caught her. I caught just a brief glimpse. Then another time I went to my landlord's to pay rent, rang the doorbell, the door opened, and so the first room is the kitchen, it goes back, the hallway goes back into T's. There was a suitcase open on the ground right at the T, and there was a bunch of Sasha's clothes and some wigs. Somebody sent me a crazy email, or a voicemail, sorry, where you can hear these people talking, and it sounds like a friend of mine is defending me, and he gets beat up. And then towards the end of it, he goes, he asks where they're at, and they say Aspen, because that's, he's up there along with me. And then he says, there's police officers here. And then the last name he says is the officer who I went to at the Aspen PD for help. Now, they've set traps for me like this before to try to cause schisms within my support group. The ultimate goal, so gang stalking, this is what they do. A gang stalking crew will pick a target, then they try to isolate and destroy every aspect of that target's life. Through slanders, lies, manipulations, all kinds of stuff. They recruit family, friends, rogue police officers, co-workers, bosses, everybody. They use lies, slanders, threats, pleading, money, sex, everything they can. The ultimate goal of any gang stalking is the murder of the target. First, they try to drive you to commit suicide, which I attempted in 2020. And then, if that doesn't work, they either kill you in what looks like a random killing, or they disappear you. So, the only reason I believe I'm still alive is because I know who two of the members are, them and who their families are. And I've told everybody. So it's the only reason why I think I'm still alive. So they're not stopping. So now, in these last 3 years, it's slowed down a bit because I've been up in Aspen. So what they do is they built networks in Denver, Boulder, Grand Junction, Aspen, Carbondale, Glenwood Springs, Fort Collins. And so if I go down to those places, it'll be okay for a day or two, and then they'll show up. Now, to be fair, I'm going to tell you this, to be fair, yes, I was using drugs. That said, this is what they're counting on, that people pass it off as drugs. Because I have seen them also lesser, but still, when I'm not on drugs. And, as I said, I have absolute proof that this has happened. Absolute. It's small, but it's undeniable. When I was in Colorado State Prison, I received a letter from somebody. They said that they'd be willing to come forward if I could get the FBI involved, and they gave me a couple pieces of proof of, that they were actually involved. They said they were a part of their crew. I got out, went to the Boulder Library. They provided an email. I set up another email as they asked. I emailed them, and we had a conversation over the email. And they said that they wanted out. Basically, from what I've come to understand, once you become a gang stalker, that's it. You're in for life. The only way out is death. And from other things I saw, they were also committing other high crimes. It appears that they were recruiting in 2 different cities, two different underage runaway girls. Then in San Diego, I saw something that made me believe that one of those underage girls was being pimped out. And then, when I was in Albuquerque, after I saw the other underage runaway girl around, this black guy that I knew from smoking crack cocaine like 3 or 4 years before, 5 years before, maybe even a little longer, but I recognized him and he recognized me. He walked by with a friend and he just kind of glanced at me, and we recognized each other, and he goes, they sold those girls. So I believe that they're also involved in human trafficking. Gang stalkers are in a position for that, especially ones who travel, because or who look like traveler people, like young traveler people, because a lot of times these runaways will get out or will run away from home, and they're looking for people, in their 20s or whatever, to befriend and, latch onto for safety. And so most of the time they find people who are willing to do that, but also it makes ripe fields for gang stalkers to exploit. They're also dealing drugs. They're going around telling people that they're trying to get me off drugs, they're trying to get me off homelessness, and that this is for my own good. Meanwhile, they're selling the same drugs that I use and using them. I saw Sasha, so they're tracking me through my phone. So one night, my battery went dead, and I was walking at 9th and Pickett in Grand Junction past this convenience store, and as I came on the other side of it, there was about 20 homeless people lined up along the wall. At the very end sat Sasha, and we looked at each other and locked eyes, and she handed a meth pipe to this homeless person sitting next to her, hopped on a BMX bike, and skedaddled. It was her. So people have asked, why don't I try to negotiate with them, make peace with them, all this shit. First thing is that, and I don't expect anybody to believe me, but I never did anything to these people. I never stole from them. I don't owe them any money. I never slept with them. I just tried to be their friend. They said that I was too needy, clingy, and socially inept. Whatever. I don't really care. Really what it was, though, is just that I was easy, and I've been told that too. Not one other thing, but so much stuff, but another thing they've done to me is that, so I camp under a bridge in Aspen. It's actually a nice spot. And one night, I woke up and there was all these weird musics with the colors like the Northern Lights, because Sasha used to live in Dawson City, Yukon, and so that was a play on that. And it had this weird and disturbing but strangely beautiful satanic music playing. And I woke up and I was being pushed back and forth. And then I woke up again and it was the same dream. And then I woke up again, it was the same dream. The fourth time I woke up and there was nothing. So what they were doing is that they had, I believe, aerosoled me with some psychedelic drugs to induce these dreams. The way they used to, or the way that they have kidnapped me, is that they will come up on me, aerosol me, or knock me out, and then, or just grab me, which I'll tell you about in a sec, and take me back somewhere, and then torture me, and then give me drugs to forget. So I have this one flashback where I'm behind this black van, two guys are holding my arms, and Sasha is stepping forward and tasering me. Then the next thing I have is I'm in some warehouse, and there's another guy in there who's hanging from the roof by his arms, and his legs are pulled back, and he's been brutally beaten. And then I have another flashback of Sasha, Mo, which is a friend of Sasha's, and Haley, which is also a friend of Sasha's, and they're in white robes that have been splattered with blood, and they look very evil. They have evil grins, insane grins on their faces. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. All I can say is that this is not drug delusion. I wish it was. This is not schizophrenia. This is not mental illness. I'm being gang stalked. And so it's been iterated to me. I don't know if I said this before, but there's some secret website out there where they film me high in my camps and then playing games on me, and they're making money on it because there's a lot of people who like to see these types of things, especially against a homeless person. Also, I think attached with it is a video game. I don't know how that works, but yeah, and people pay money, and that's how they're financing it, along with the drugs. And I think there's one other element. I think somebody from my past who did much evil to me, and well, I don't want to say because I don't want to, give that up yet, but yeah, is paying them. And also, there may be other people paying them too, because they make up all kinds of slanders. They fabricate, they lie, whatever they can do. So, as I said, Sasha is from Canada, but she lives a double life. So I've seen the videos of her and her band and her bandmates and stuff, and she appears to be quite normal. Actually kind of cool in a way. But then when she comes down here, she's a completely different person. When I first met her, she came off as this kind of shy, nice, polite, intelligent woman, young woman. Then I went to prison in California, and so let me tell you this. So I went to prison in California, and I messaged another friend of mine, and I gave her my Facebook password, and I said, message these 20 people on my Facebook and ask them to write. Sasha and Melissa were not on there. Nobody wrote. So after a year, I told my friend to just post my address online or on Facebook. So I got a letter from Sasha and a letter from Melissa. Melissa wrote 3 times and dropped off, but Sasha wrote, came to visit me, and even sent me a typewriter. During this time, though, she had moved from Vancouver up to Dawson City, Yukon, where it's dark 6 months of the year. And after I got out, we followed each other on Instagram. I set up an Instagram account, and I saw all these pictures where she's hanging out with these rail riding crusty traveler kids who are obviously into the occult. So there's a lot of that up in Dawson City because it's dark 6 months of the year, all of that. So here's the funny thing, though. So in California State Prison, in California, I'm known by my stepdad's last name. And so, my real last name is Navarro, but I'm known by my stepdad's last name, which is his different last name. Sasha and Melissa didn't know what my real last name was. So when I got the letters, it had my stepdad's last name on it and also my prison number. So when I got out, I tried to get on my Facebook. I couldn't get on. My friend had changed the password. I called her up. She gave me the new one, and I tried that. It didn't work. I called again. She goes, well, I'm at work. I don't know. But what she didn't know was that my page was an open page. When I scrolled down, there was no address posted. Now, it doesn't matter what name you put on there, really. It's only the number. Now, you can say you can go through inmate, look up all this kinds of stuff, but here's the thing. As I said, they didn't know what my stepdad's last name was, so they couldn't have even looked me up. How do they get that number? Yeah, so one of the other things with gang stalking is to leave so much circumstantial evidence that it's obvious what's happening, yet leave no hard physical proof. This is where they fucked up, because I have hard physical proof and I know who they are. I have heard things and have been basically led to believe that they have gotten in trouble for this. I think they've been beaten up or tortured themselves. The world they live in is very brutal. So anyway, this is happening. I'm going to ask everybody out there that if you are approached by these people and they come at you, whatever they say, listen, fine. You're a grown adult, you can make your own decisions. But then just come ask me. Just ask me. That's all I ask. And I'll blow them out of the water from all their bullshit. So as I said, they're telling people this is for my own good. They're trying to get me off drugs and homelessness and get me on my feet. Meanwhile, they have told me numerous times that they are going to kidnap me and over a very, 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 very long period, brutally torture me and then burn me alive. They have told me this. I have iterated to them that I'm going to do everything in my power to see them in prison. And if they are guilty of the murders I suspect them of, especially Melissa, because 2 different people who she had violent fallings out with have come up dead under mysterious circumstances. And another person who was rumored to owe Melissa drug money, and who her ex-boyfriend, who came up dead from an OD, but there were strange circumstances around it, was trying to hook up with her, and she disappeared. That's a very famous case. Look up Crystal Ann Singer from Crestone, Colorado. I knew her. And so 2 men were accused, my friend Dreddy Bryan and this other guy I knew, Catfish John, of raping her and killing her. Evidence came out later that Bryan was completely innocent. And, so Catfish John, not so much. They didn't gather evidence, but there was a huge shroud around him. He was dealing drugs, making rumoredly pornography in his house, and there was some rumor that he wanted Crystal to participate in that. It was also rumored that, and I knew that there was some of this going on, that Melissa was dealing drugs for Catfish John. There is a lot of crazy shit involved in this. I'm not saying that Melissa killed these people, but it's just very suspicious. I asked her about it one time when we were still friends, and she said, I could see how you could see that. These people are very clever. They come off cool, hip. Sasha's pretty. She's 29. Melissa's 36. She's pretty. And they use that. They use everything they can. They lampoon me. They nitpick everything I do. Way I walk, talk, everything. If I put my hands in my pockets, they'll be like, pocket pool, pocket pool, pocket pool. Of course not. But it's a part of their mind conditioning thing. They get people to think that through the power of suggestion, and they make me think that people are thinking that, which, I'm like, you don't want people thinking that. Eventually I figured out their game, dumbass me, and I just didn't give a fuck. Whatever. I'm not playing pocket pool, but yeah, so what if I fuck you? So getting back to what I suspect them of murders, because they're definitely capable of it. I have, as they said, they're going to do that, torture me over a long period of time and then burn me alive eventually. I have told them that if they are guilty of the murders I suspect them of, I will do everything in my power to see them tried, convicted, sentenced to death, and executed. And if they let me in the viewing room, I'll ask if I can bring popcorn. It has to be this way. Gang stalkers do not negotiate. They will act and play like they're negotiating, but when they get it, when the time is right and the opportunity is good, they'll turn on you. This is not for me, although they're saying I'm the one who's stubborn. It's from them, because I know that I've studied gang stalking a lot, and that's just the rule. So basically, there is no reasoning, no settling, no negotiating, no talking, no mercy, no let up, no quarter. No quarter. None expected and none given. Now, because they're women, I have told both of them that they could walk right up to me and talk to me and I wouldn't lay a hand on them. As I said, I'm an old school convict, and crimes against women and children are unacceptable. That said, though, I am going to come after them with the full force of the law and the courts. And, at the very least, I'm going to see them in a maximum security federal penitentiary doing a very long time. Anyway, I'm asking everybody to just, show me the courtesy of asking me, if they have a question, just ask. I don't have to lie. All that said, I wish you guys good morning, and watch out for these people. So another gang stalking thing is that they'll recruit people to help them, and then when their usefulness is done, they'll get rid of those people as loose ends. Especially they've used homeless against me, and so what's come to my attention is that they'll use various elements of the homeless, and then when their usefulness is done, they're being set up to be the next target. I have a suspicion that there are certain people who are not homeless and who have a bit of money, who are being blackmailed. Because these people, they set people up. They slander, they fabricate, they do everything they can. These people are just, they're quite evil, and the even worse thing about it is that they don't come off like it. They're not, these, they come off quite differently, and that's a part of their thing. Basically, they're the devil appearing, or the followers of the devil appearing as angels of light. They're hooked into the counterculture, social justice thing. They use that, but they're also chameleons. If somebody's conservative, there'll be a little bit of that, whatever they have to do to recruit somebody. But they're not really about any of it. All they're about is just to do fucked up shit to people because they think it's funny, and they can't. They told me that, and they want to see if they can get away with it. You guys have a good morning. Thanks for listening.